Listen up. Today we're diving into an epic story of limits push, revolving around Ferrari, Ford, and some magical racing. Old man Enzo was absolutely furious, yelling loudly at the Ford team, and ultimately they departed as empty-handed as if they had been doused with cold water. The next day, Fiat's acquisition of Ferrari made headlines, $18 million plus control of the racing program. Ford executives suddenly realized that Enzo had no intention of selling. He was just putting on a price-bumping show, while Ford Roman II was more concerned about not being the butt of Enzo's joke. The marketing guy had stashed those trashy opinions in folder 151, which ticked Ford Roman II off so much he vowed to build a top-notch car to strike a severe blow to Enzo in the area he prides himself on the most. His marketing director began to plan a visit to Shelby, akin to dispatching spies to gather enemy intelligence. After all, Shelby was one of the few who ever won once a champion of American sports car races. But Ferrari had been owning this track for years, crafting a wild racer in just 90 days. That's like challenging the impossible. Beating Ferrari on such a crazy track was like testing Mom's. Shelby initially wanted to refuse, but when he heard unlimited budget, bam. His eyes lit up, and he was suddenly all in. He thought the best driver was his buddy Miles. But when Miles heard Ford's big plans, he burst out laughing. Who doesn't know those full of themselves Ford execs? They only care about profits, and can hardly remember how to drive. Taking them to participate in the races would simply be like blowing hot air. So they'd better keep on dreaming. They are truly indulging in daydreams. They are still indulging in wishful thinking. Miles argued with the VP, spilling some hilarious tidbits about the future of racing. Meanwhile, driver Shelby staged a thrilling air show for Ford execs, leaving them stunned. When he landed, he drifted like a pro, getting all eyes on him like kids watching a circus. Despite being a superstar, Shelby had to bow down in front of Ford, sweet-talking them in his speech. This guy knows because he's not punching a time clock. He's searching for dream chasers. Who knows if they are lucky, but some will end up finding what they truly love. It's about being passionate and not giving up easily. Yeah, him, that guy. I totally get it. Another guy out there feels the same way. This vibe is high right now. Miles took off his glasses, ready for a compliment, only to find his buddy bending over to Ford for some cash praise. Disheartened, Miles left with his son, while that night Shelby became the guest of honor Avenger style. As longtime buddies, Shelby understood Miles wasn't one to bend easily, but knowing his passion, he begged for a last chance. The two sped through the night in their sports car, as Miles' wife watched from the window like it was a blockbuster movie. Shelby brought Miles to the R&D facility, and guess what? Ford rented out an entire airport for easy shipping. Talk about impressive speed. Though Miles hated Ford's style, he couldn't resist the call of racing, flooring the gas pedal. The subtitle shows the engine of the air-transported vehicle roared loudly, and its high speed stirred up a cloud of dust. However, even though the car was racing at a breakneck pace, Miles thought the driving experience was absolutely terrible. What a paradox. He complained. His instincts kicked in, and he revved around the airport. Shelby thought this is going to be interesting. But how could Miles break the news to his wife? He had promised to work hard and stay away from racing. But to his surprise, his wife cut him off, demanding to know where he had been with Shelby last night, and why he was so late. Miles mumbled a vague excuse, which sent his wife off to the streets, pedal to the metal. The wife didn't hold any objection to her husband returning to the racing scene. She simply despised the feeling of being kept uninformed. Subsequently, she made up her mind to track down Peter and demand some explanations. By the way, $200 for a bathroom visit. Who thinks they can get away with that? Are you trying to pull a fast one on me? You really think I'm not paying attention? That job isn't easy, since every second was spent in that hilarious money factory. Support from his wife was a plus. Miles started raking in $200 a day. Living like a king, he was rolling in the dough. This racing gig allowed him to pay the bills while chasing dreams. Who says it doesn't get any better? They pasted yarn all over the car to test for wind resistance and somehow figured out where the issues lay. Who needs advanced tech? The beefy V8 engine got a facelift, dropping 23 while boosting to 360 horsepower. Now that's what we call hitting the peak. The moment Miles hopped in the new car, it was a ride of joy, smashing record after record in mind-blowing stuff. Just when everyone thought Miles would steal the show at Le Mans, the Ford VP pops up out of nowhere with some nonsense. He claimed Miles was too self-involved, his getup didn't fit the Ford image, and demanded he be removed from the GT40 lineup. But this clueless guy had crashed a UFO on the beach and ended up at bowling beating the legendary Nick. You know, Liza asked me why I didn't purchase his car. But the VP remained unmoving, hell-bent on taking Miles out of the game. He firmly opposed the idea, even saying Miles would mess up an interview and hurt Ford's sales. With such pressure, Shelby had to back down, inviting Miles in with a guilty heart, ready to issue another penalty.